Good evening, Money Masters. Uh-oh. All right, let's see if this works. Is this working? Money Masters, can you see and hear me now? At least I can see myself now, which is good. I couldn't see myself before. No sound, buffering stopped. Okay, at least the buffering stopped. Let's see if I can figure. Okay, testing, testing. Any sound? We have sound now. Can hear now. Great, 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 great. Thank you, Pamela. All right, we're going to give 2 more minutes to respect time. And after that, we will go right into today's presentation. Very excited. If you don't mind, can you just introduce yourself in the chat with your name and where you're from, what city you're in right now? Don't be shy. And also, I think, okay, Pamela from Miami, welcome, welcome. That's my mom, by the way. Thank you, mommy. And I think I have a poll in the chat. I'm trying to use these features. This is my very first YouTube live. So, again, bear with me. And we have 1 more minute before we start today's presentation. But thank goodness you all can see and hear me. That's the most important piece. We have crossed that hurdle. We will get through the rest. Look at, okay, hi, Albert from Miami Gardens. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I love it. All right, it's 7:05 and we started at 7. So I definitely want to get into today's presentation so that you get the most value you can. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully I don't throw myself out again. Let's see. All right, and hopefully you all are seeing a PowerPoint presentation. Hopefully your screen says Control Your Money, Build Your Budget webinar. Money Lady Amber starting soon. You can give me a thumbs up or a heart. Click the heart if that's what you see. All right, I saw a heart. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So tonight we are going to really review budgeting. I'm going to start with a quick little intro about myself so you know who's sitting and sharing this information with you. And we're going to talk about what a budget is. And then we're going to walk through how to build your budget step by step. Then we'll have some Q&A so you can feel free to ask questions. You can ask questions in the chat, but I may not see them throughout the event. So if I don't see them, I will definitely go back through the chat, but also make sure that during the Q&A portion, you're firing off your questions. Okay, so hi, it's Amber with Control Your Money. If you've seen any of my social media content, you've heard that before. By the way, I am on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. If you are attending this evening, you will get the links provided to you in a follow-up email so that you can follow me on all social media platforms that I'm on. Subscribe to my content. I have been budgeting for over 20 years. Okay. Over 20 years, I have been using a budget as a tool to help me do what I need to do and get what I want. And it has not failed me yet. It has only helped me do more and more over the years. I'm a working professional. I have a 20-year career um, professionally, and that's actually how I got into budgeting. Prior to my professional career, I had worked retail. I had worked for small businesses, and I was used to getting paid either on a weekly or biweekly basis. And my first professional job was a monthly paycheck. You got paid one time a month at the end of the month. And that immediately frightened me. I just knew that I was not going to have enough money to make it through a whole month. So I sat down and researched and said that I had to figure out how to make my money stretch over a whole month. And that is how I came across budgeting. So that's how I got into budgeting. With that, I have no financial background. I'm not going to give you financial advice. I'm not going to tell you how to invest your money, tell you how. That's not my content. My content is budgeting, period. Budgeting, good practices with your money. That's it. If you want to know how to invest your money, you're going to have to follow somebody that's certified and qualified in that. If you want to know how to plan for retirement and all of those things, look for other content creators. Okay. If you want to learn how to use the money you have to get financial stability, if not financial security. So, financial stability is being able to pay your bills without having to think about it, having a little money saved up, and generally having an understanding of the money that you're bringing in. Okay, so that's stability. That's what I'm here to do, is help people achieve financial stability through budgeting. All right, and one of the things that I definitely want to mention about my curiosity about budgeting and why I have spent so much time and energy in it over the years, and now want to share it with others, is because I grew up watching people figure it out. I think most of us saw this when we saw our parents dealing with money. We saw the bill spread on the table, and they were on the table like this, looking at the bills, trying to figure out what to do, trying to figure out how to make things work. And I said to myself, even as a small child, I said, I need to understand money. I don't want to figure money out. I don't want to figure things out every paycheck. I don't want to figure things out when the bills come due. I want to understand money, because there are people out there that don't do this. And I knew that even as a small child. And I said, I want to know how money works so that I can use it to my advantage and grow it. And budgeting is the tool that has helped me do that over the years. So I keep saying budget, budgeting, budget, budgeting. What is a budget? What is a budget? And again, if you have a chance to take that poll, let me see if I can see. Okay, I have three people that have taken the poll and said you're excited to learn, and I love that, because a lot of people are either nervous or overwhelmed. They're curious, but they're not sure if they want to engage in budgeting. So I'm really excited that you all are excited to learn about budgeting. That's why I'm here. But what is a budget? A budget is really a plan for your money. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. It's a plan for your money. If you follow my content, you know that my thing that I always say is every dollar needs to have a home. Every dollar needs to know what bed it's going to sleep in at night. Your financial chaos comes when you don't know where your money is going. Where did my money go? Where did my money go? I think we all have said that several times. Some of us are saying it even right now. And if that's you, you are in the right place, because I want you to be able to confidently say every paycheck, this is where every dollar of my money is going. Or even with your upcoming paycheck, that is where every dollar of my money will be going. I want you to have the confidence that the money that you spend time earning. I remember when I worked in retail, my feet at the end of the day, it was brutal. The pain in my feet at the end of the day working retail, to get a paycheck and then not know where my money went. That would hurt my feelings. That would hurt my feelings. So a budget will help you feel like the hours you spend on your feet, or the hours you spend in front of a computer, or the hours you spent dealing with customers was worth it because it got you to where you wanted to be financially. It paid these bills. It put some of itself over in a savings account for what you needed it to do. It helped you go to that concert or that event. I want you to have that feeling. And the way to get that feeling is through budgeting. So again, a budget is a plan for your money. All right, we about to get into the meat and potatoes, okay? So if you follow me on social media, I have been reposting my Control Your Money budget series. Last year, just over a year ago, I posted a series of 8 videos, 8 steps to a good complete budget. You will also receive, if you have not already, you will also receive a link to the YouTube playlist where I go in depth on each of these steps. And I 100% encourage you to look at those videos and listen to those topics and those discussions because you need to have a good, complete budget in order for this to work. What is a good, complete budget? A good and complete budget is a full picture of your finances. Another reason that our finances tend to be chaotic is because the right hand doesn't know what the left hand needs to do. And the left hand is doing something that the right hand would not advise. Okay. So a good complete budget is going to get both hands on one accord so that what you're thinking you're doing is what's actually happening with your finances. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this again because the videos are available and I want you to watch those. It's more important to me that you get to see an actual budget and walk through it. But I'll go over these very quickly. Some of these are intentions, not necessarily action steps. So the first one is Money Master. In order for your budget to work, you have to accept your role and your responsibility in controlling your money. That's why I call myself Control Your Money, because you are the master of your money. Money is an excellent servant, but a poor master. Shout out to my Sunday school teacher, Sister Sarah, who said that many years ago, and I never forgot it. If your money is directing your life, you will never be able to overcome that. You'll always be chasing after money. You'll always be stressed out about money. You need to flip it. You need to be the master of your money. You need to be controlling your money. So that first step is accepting your role and your responsibility in making that happen. The second thing is financial goals. So you may say, wait, I need to figure out my finances before I start working on financial goals. But I love the people whose financial goals start with paying their bills on time. Many, if not most of us, struggle with that, just keeping up with your bills. So maybe that's a financial goal for you. And I don't want you to feel bad about that. I want you to be excited about it because you have decided that you're ready to change your mind and change your thinking and get control of your finances. And you should be proud of that. And I'm proud of you for that. If that's you listening in. Others, you may want to buy a house. You may need to purchase a car. You may have a dream vacation that you want to take. You may know, because a financial goal is not just in something that's out there in the sky, the next school year is going to be coming up. You may have kids that need clothes. That's a financial goal. That's something in the future that you need to start preparing for today. That's also a financial goal. And it's important to establish financial goals because you need to build your financial goals into your budget. Your budget is not just for your bills. Your budget is a full financial picture, your full financial life. So that's why, to me, the financial goals should take priority in terms of thinking and getting things down. That will help you figure out how you want your budget to direct your money. Okay? The next step, decisive action. I attended a presentation last week. The presenter said change is a choice. And I have repeated that about every day. Change is a choice. Decisive action is committing to the budget journey. So, as a money master, you're accepting your role and responsibility, and that's fine. I know I control my money, but I need you to decide to control your money. That's two different things. You can know that you are responsible for your finances, but until you decide to take control of your finances, nothing will change, nothing will happen. Okay, so decisive action is step three. Step four, know your income. Most people that I assist with their finances, if I ask them how much money you bring in on a monthly basis, if they're not retired and they get one or two checks, most working people have not been able to tell me how much money they're bringing in on a monthly basis, especially people that are working multiple jobs. They don't really know how much money they have coming in. And it may be because the money that's coming in is going out so fast you can't keep track of it. But you will never get control of your finances if you don't know that number. And it's important to know that number on a monthly basis, like how much per month you bring in. It's important to know that number because most bills are monthly bills, they're due once a month. So you need to know how much you have coming in on a monthly basis. Household expenses. That's mostly related to the place where you open your eyes in the morning and you go to sleep at night. There's a cost to operating all of these things. There's light. I'm looking at a whole bunch of lights right now. There's electricity, there's water, there's gas if you use a gas stove. There is, for me, it's pest control. That's one of my few monthly bills because I can't have people over here that don't pay bills living up in here with me. Okay. But there are different costs inside of the structure of where you live outside of just work. After you leave work and you come home, or some of us work from home, there's a cost to operating this facility and keeping it up. What does that look like? Lifestyle expenses, clothes, shoes, subscription services. I've done a couple of videos on subscription services because those have overtaken our finances, honestly, and we need to get a hold of that. Um, there's a lot of things related to your lifestyle that you need to know what they're costing you on a monthly basis. And that's also one of those categories where people lose track because it's I'm just paying this over here and I'm just paying that over there. Do you realize that our entertainment today costs more than when we had cable? Some of us are paying twice as much as we used to pay for cable because we have seven different streaming services. If you listen to Apple Music or Spotify, I read books, I have Kindle Unlimited. Those things add up significantly, very quick and significantly. So we'll categorize those in lifestyle expenses. Next is personal debt. Okay. You got to pay them people. I just reposted my video yesterday and I laughed because I love how I said it, but I mean it. You got to pay them people back. You got to pay them people back. If you borrow money and told somebody or some entity that I'm borrowing this money from you with the intent to pay you back, you need to do that. You need to do that. You need to pay them back. You want to release anything that can hold you back from attracting more money to you. And owing people is one of those things. If you owe somebody and you walk away as if you never borrowed the money or you never made the promise to pay, that's a door that you've closed for the flow of money in your life. Okay? You want to pay people back. You want to get that off of you so that when someone needs and you lend, you get your money back. And it's not just people. I'm talking student loans, credit cards, credit cards. And that's really important because let me tell you, they'll let you stop paying. And then what's coming? Collections. And that might not be so bad until you need to buy a house. And that's on your credit history. And that impacts your ability to get a car. So all that needs to be cleaned up. And there's a way to build that into your budget. We'll talk about that. Last step is giving, and not just giving to others, but giving to yourself. Very importantly, giving to yourself. And when I say that, I mean savings. I want my money masters to have financial stability with an ultimate goal of getting to financial security. But we'll talk about that in another day. Today is about financial stability. Financial stability is not just paying your bills on time, because you may be able to pay your bills every time they come in, but then if your car breaks down, you don't have any money to fix it because you don't have anything in savings. So you're not financially stable. My goal with budgeting is to help you get to financial stability. I want you to be able to live on a daily basis, but also respond to life when it happens, because life is going to happen. Life never stops happening. So I don't want you just paying bills. I want you building up savings at the same time. All right. Let me check the chat real quick. So I see some additional attendees. If you would put your name and the city that you're from. Let me know your name and the city that you're from in the chat. And hello to my people that have joined. All right, so we are now going to look at a budget. Give me 1 second while I share another screen. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, so if you can put a heart if you see what looks like an Excel spreadsheet on the screen. The very top, it says budget template biweekly. Hi, Renee from Tallahassee. Renee is actually my first and my star pupil. All right. You'll see her on Control Your Money soon because we got to talk about it. Okay. Thank you. I see some hearts. So that lets me know y'all see this Microsoft spreadsheet. So I told y'all I've been budgeting for over 20 years. What you see in front of you is what I have been using for over 20 years. I'm not ashamed of it, okay? It's not pretty, it's not colorful, there are no pie charts. It's straight numbers and information. That's all I need. That is all I have needed. This has served me for over 20 years. I have purchased a house. I have bought several cars. I have traveled literally the world. I have donated to causes. I have done it all. And I have done it with this screen that you see in front of you. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with those nice templates. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with something in a different format. I'm just telling you that this is what has worked for me. And we'll talk about this template later on if you don't have it. Some of you have it. If you don't, we'll talk about that later on. But this is the template that I use to keep track of my finances. And what I did, because again, we're talking about January 2026, I'm going to show you how to set up your budget for January 2026. But you can use this for every month of the year. And that's really how I have a budget. If you're not very familiar with Microsoft Excel, I can share some YouTube links to show you at the bottom here. I wish it was a little pointer. It probably is, and I just don't know where it's at. But at the bottom left, and let me see if I can change the color at least to bring some attention. So at the bottom left, oh, okay, here we go. You see my mouse on the screen and you see where it says January 2026. I'm just going to let you know that you can copy and paste. Let me see, not copy and paste, but duplicate. Okay, you can't see that. But if you right click on this tab within Microsoft Excel, there's a way to copy this worksheet. This is a worksheet. So the file is the budget template file. We're looking at the January worksheet. And you see where it says bills. This is another worksheet in the file. Checking and savings. This is another worksheet in the file. So these tabs are worksheets. in the Microsoft Excel file. And there are ways to copy these worksheets. So you can copy this tab and make a whole new tab. So where you see January 2026, you can copy it and make a one for February 2026. I'm going to show you January. You can take off from there. Just as a note, from the years that I've been budgeting, at the end of December, so in a couple of days, I'm going to be making my budget for 2026. And my budget says January, February, March, April, May. There's a tab for every month in my Microsoft Excel file. It takes time to get there, so don't put that pressure on yourself. But we are definitely starting with 2026. And again, you can replicate this for the rest of the months of the year. So I'm going to move the screen over a little bit so you can see everything. And hopefully this is big enough. If not, I think I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Okay. So what I do when I budget, I receive a biweekly paycheck right now. Some of you may receive a monthly paycheck. I have a different template for monthly, but the concept is going to be the same, and I'll explain that in a couple of minutes. For my biweekly people, what I've done is I work for a government agency, a well-known government agency here is in Miami, South Florida. So there are other government agencies where we're all on the same date in terms of getting our paychecks. So I put the first date of the first check that we expect in January, which is January 9th. This template will then calculate the next check, which is January 23rd. So that's why you see January 9th and January 23rd, because I get paychecks on those 2 days in January. Now, some months it's a 3 paycheck month. That's a different discussion. Right now, we're going to focus on our 2 paycheck months, which is generally 10 of the months out of a 12-month year. Those times when you get 3 checks, you can figure out how to work it. Okay, we could talk about that another day. Today, we're going to focus on biweekly paychecks. All right, so the first thing on your budget you want to have is how much you are bringing in. So net income. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some numbers in. Okay, so my paycheck, and I know this is low, I know, but I don't want to go high and then lose people. So we're just going to do this, okay? So $1,400 every paycheck. That's how much I make. That means that every month I make $2,800. So over here under column K, I just highlighted it. Just so you know, in my budget template, things total. So I'm going to put something under the first paycheck, and I'll put something under the second paycheck. And then column K is going to total everything up so that I can see it as a monthly view. Okay, so these numbers are for this paycheck. These numbers are for that paycheck. And then over here in column K, everything gets totaled up so that I know, okay, well, in a month, I get paid $2,800. Can I get some hearts if we understand that? Hi, Samantha from Miami, Florida. Let me get a heart. If so far I'm on the right path, okay, I want to make sure I don't lose anybody. Okay, great. I love the hearts. Okay, so one of the things that I feel people should prioritize on your budget, well, let me say this. I lay out a budget with what your priorities should be. I'll say that. Okay. So for me, having a roof over my head is that's it. Okay, because the lights can be off in here. Hopefully not the water too, but at least I can have somewhere to lay my head at night. That's really important, real important. So that's why rent and mortgage are at the top of the list. Okay. I've done a video. Again, if you look at the videos in the playlist about the Control Your Money Budget series, I've done a video about the importance of giving, okay? Not just to others, but to yourself. But for me, tithing is critical. It has changed my finances completely in the best way. I feel like if I give what I feel I'm supposed to give, it's not anybody's requirement or anything like that. I want to make sure that that's clear. Everybody has different views and beliefs. For me, tithing, I tithe, and I also donate. Okay, so that is right there under rent and mortgage, because I don't want to forget to do that when I get paid. That's one of the first things I send out is my tithes and my donations when I get paid. So that's that. The next, again, giving to others, but also to yourself. So savings. And some of us may say, savings, how can I put savings? I don't have anything for savings. If you put $10 in that slot, that's a start. 10 times 2 checks a month is $20. Times 12 months a year, $20 times 12 is $240. And that's $240 that you could put somewhere in a savings and build that up over time. A little bit over time goes a long way. And don't look down on humble beginnings. So if you are here on this live with $0 in your savings, I got your back. I got your back. I hope that's not your situation, but if it is, this is how you're going to change it. All right. Every paycheck, there should be something going to savings. And we'll talk about how to figure out how much you can even afford to send to savings in a moment as well, because you may be able to give more to savings than you think. And also, I encourage you to push yourself to send as much as you can to savings to help you. Okay, we'll talk about that later. All right. The next, and this is one of the things that when I started budgeting, I realized how important this line is on a budget. Gas for your car, for those of us who drive. My gas budget a month is $160. I put aside $80 each paycheck for gas, and I work from home. I work from home. I have to fill up once a week. And my car takes about $40. So each week is $40. So that's why each paycheck I have 80. And what I'm going to do is actually start writing the numbers down, just in case we start to get long with time. So I'm going to focus on one paycheck and then we'll work on the next paycheck. Let me go back up to the top with rent and mortgage. One of the things I figured out early on, once I started getting back to getting paid on a biweekly basis, was to split up your rent and your mortgage. So many people try to pay it all at one time, and that is very strenuous on your finances. That's a lot of strain on your finances. So if my rent, in the case of somebody with $2,800, and your rent is supposed to be 30% of that, which we know that that's not realistic in Miami. So let's just say rent is can't be $1,000. Let's say rent is 1,600. Well, no. Let's see. Let's say rent is $1,400 a month. So we can pay $700 this paycheck, and I'm gonna jump over there and just do that now. $700 on the next. Okay. For tithes and donations, I don't want to stress nobody out, so I'm just gonna put, if you put $20 in donations, okay. I don't want to stress nobody out just yet, okay? But if in this case, if you were tithing and tithing is 10%, then that $20 would be $140. Okay. Okay. Savings, like I said, if you put $10 a paycheck, that's enough for me. Gas, I'm gonna have to pay $80. Okay. So again, we're listing amounts for the first paycheck, we're listing amounts for the second paycheck, Over here in column K, things are totaling up. Okay. If I'm moving too fast, please say moving too fast in the chat because I don't want to leave anybody behind. You are spending your time, you invested your energy to be here. I want to make sure you get what you need tonight. Okay. If you're keeping up, go ahead and click the heart so I know. Anybody there? Okay, there we go. I wasn't sure if I was buffering over there. All right, perfect. So we're going to keep going. All right, entertainment, we're going to come back to in a moment. Entertainment is covered in lifestyle expenses, which is step, I don't remember, but it's in the budget series playlist. So entertainment is covered in lifestyle expenses. And this is higher up on the list than other things because you go to work every day. You go to work every day. Some of us are miserable going to that place, but we know, it's a means to an end. You have to be able to take care of yourself a little bit and enjoy a little bit of the money that you make. Okay, so that's why I have entertainment here, but it is a category where you have to figure out all your other responsibilities first in order to know how much you have for entertainment. So we'll come back to that. Okay, groceries. This is like gas for your car. You need to know how much you spend in groceries a month. For some people, the cost of groceries is the cost of this right here for rent and mortgage. That $1,400 is some people's grocery bill for the month. I'm just saying, it is what it is. So you cannot afford to not have that number on your budget. You can't, because if you're not accounting for the cost of your groceries in your total budget, you've blown your budget before you ever got a chance to get started. Okay? Groceries, you got to think about it like a bill. It's money you need every month. You got to eat. You have to eat. You have to have food. You have to pay your light bill. There's certain things you have to do. Groceries is a must. So you need to have some money down for that. So I'm going to put this, I don't know. I think my grocery budget is $80 every 2 weeks. I don't know how much this individual's would be. So I'm going to put $120 and we'll see where we end up. Okay. Cell phone. Woo! This is an interesting one. I don't know how much y'all cell phone bills be. Mine is $80 and it could be 40. Blink, 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 blink. There's somebody on here that knows it could be $40, but it's $80. But I don't have an updated phone. I don't have the most recent phone. I'm not financing a phone. I paid off the phone that I have on my account. I take advantage of the 55 plus plan because of the other person that's on my account. So that does let me pay $80 for 2 lines, which I know is a great price. I highly suggest you to review plan opportunities with your provider to get that number as low as possible. I don't know how much it costs for most people because of that. So I have to put, I guess, $100. Is that generally what people, Lord, the groceries, right? Is $100 generally what people are paying for that cell phone bill? Now, I don't want anybody to write how much you're paying in the chat because I don't want y'all telling your business, but I don't know. Give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down if I'm way off with $100. Sounds like I may be a little bit on the low end over here. Woo. They have to go on the high end. Okay, but we won't spend too much time on that. I'm just letting you know that your cell phone bill needs to be here on your budget. Shopping. So we already got money here for groceries. Some people have a shopping habit where every month they need to go and do a little bit of shopping. And when I say shopping, I really mean clothes and shoes. So We could put maybe $50 over there for that. Uh-oh. Ooh, that was a Freudian slip of the hand. Put $0 for shopping. I don't have shopping on my budget because I don't shop. I don't. But if you're somebody that generally knows you need to spend a little bit of money on clothes and shoes and things like that, you could put, how much you need to spend. Now, when times get tough, that should be zero. When you get lay everything out and you got to figure out how to make everything work, that's one of those categories that could be zero. We'll talk about that. Okay, here I put family trip because that goes back to those financial goals. Like I said, it's not just long term. You may, like me, every other year we have a family reunion and there's costs associated with that. So I don't wait for the family reunion to start to try to come up with all the money. In my family, they tell you the year before when the family reunion gonna be next year. Okay. So from that point, as soon as I find that out, if I say, well, I'm going to the family reunion, I start building a line in on my budget to put aside a little bit of money over time. So that by the time I need to pay the couple $100 for the fee for the hotel room, for the travel costs to get to the reunion, I'm not scrambling trying to figure out where to come up with that money. You do a little bit over time, that takes the stress off of you and it helps you plan. Now it's a part of your plan. Every paycheck, I'm putting a couple of dollars over here for my family reunion. For you, it may be maybe your family said we're going on a cruise next year. And the cruise costs X amount of dollars. And generally with a cruise, they tell you the first deposit is due by this time. The second deposit is due by that time. You can start saving up for those deposits so that, if the deposit is due in March, you're not on your March first paycheck of the month trying to figure out how to come up with a $300 deposit. You've been saving $50 every paycheck, or you've been saving $25 if you had a little more time every paycheck, so that when that $300 deposit is due, here you go. No stress, no strain. And that's one of the things that I think people don't realize about a budget. You can use it to help you plan for the future. You don't have to wait for the future to come to try to scramble and figure it out. And I think a lot of us have learned to do our finances that way. And it wasn't intentional. It wasn't like somebody was trying to hurt us by teaching us that. Most of us were not taught. We just watched people do that. And that's why I'm teaching budgeting to help us learn a new way. It doesn't have to be scrambling. It doesn't have to be figuring it out. It doesn't have to be putting ourselves in a financial bind. It can be a plan. And we can take action on a plan a little bit at a time so that when the future comes, we're ready. Here you go. That is such a good feeling. Here you go. Now, oh my God, where am I going to get it from? What do I have to sacrifice to do this? I don't want that for you. I want you to do it differently. A budget will help you do that. So let's just say you got a family trip coming up. We are in December. You got a family trip coming up next August, and you're going to need X amount of money. Let's put $50 for the family trip. So every month, you're going to put money towards the family trip. Now, I have it here for the January 6th paycheck. You may want to add it to the January 23rd paycheck too. That way you do 25 and 25. It's up to you how you structure your budget. It's also up to your finances. But I just want to let you know that there is flexibility in how you lay out your budget. All right, light bill. A must, a must, a must, a must, a must. If you're ever at my house, turn that light off. Turn them lights off. It don't come on till the nighttime. Sorry. Open that window, sit down and be quiet. You won't be so hot. It's my goal to keep my light bill low. Now, I have made adjustments for a regular visitor that I have. I spend a little more, to make sure that they're comfortable during the day. But overall, I work really hard to keep that light bill down. Okay? Because I know these light bills are out of control. Some of y'all got $400 light bills. And that's not judgment. I know you're shaking your head like, yep, yep. So I don't know what to say. I don't want to put $400 here, so I'm gonna put two. I just can't write 400. But if that's what your light bill costs, you need to write that down on your budget. Okay. All right. Um, Again, you're seeing categories based on certain checks, right? I'm just giving you like a run through of how to do your budget. In a minute, in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to line up the categories that you see here on the checks according to the due dates of what you need to pay. And one of those things is a credit card. So if you have credit card payments that you need to make, you can put that here. Okay. So say you have to pay $75 for this is one credit card. If you have additional credit cards, you need to add them to your budget. And there needs to be an individual line for each budget. An individual line for each card. Okay. In this case, let's say your credit card is due on the 15th. Your bill is due on the 15th. You're putting it under your January 9th paycheck. That way, when the 15th comes, the bill is paid. The bill has already been paid. If your bill is due the 27th of January, then you would move that $75 onto the next paycheck. And let's think about it with the light bill. Maybe your light bill is due on the 11th of January. So now you have to take your light bill and put it where your credit card is and then move that credit card payment over to that next check. Now, I need y'all to show me some hearts if that makes sense. Wait. What's the wait a minute? Wait. None of this is judgment. We just walking through the strategies, okay? How to make this work. I think I saw a heart. Let me see some more hearts if y'all still with me, because I don't want to leave anybody behind. I don't want you to come, sit through this exercise and leave confused. All right, I'm seeing hearts. Okay, very good, very good. All right, car payment. Major part of most people's budget because those car payments be just as much as a rent and mortgage. Okay, so you want to put that here. Now, this person, they're not making enough money. Because I know a lot of people's car payments are $700. A lot of people's car payments are $700. And if you see here, rent and mortgage is $700. $700 is the car payment. That's $1,400 right there. What that mean? You need a second job. Need some additional income. And that's one thing I do like about a budget. A budget can motivate you to find ways to earn more money. Legal ways. But for me, a budget said, with the financial goals that I had, my budget told me you need to make more money. That made me get certifications. That made me apply for other jobs. That made me take steps, serious steps, to try to figure out how to increase my salary. And for me, it worked out. But I would not have done that without looking at my finances on a monthly basis and saying, well, with my financial goals, this salary is not going to get me there. Or I'm not making enough to do the things I need to do, take care of my responsibilities, and have enough to achieve my financial goal. So a budget may hurt your feelings a little bit, especially if you're not making enough money. It may hurt your feelings, but it may motivate you to make more money. On the other end, it may motivate you to cut some things out. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so car payment $700. I'm gonna have to lower this one. This person cannot afford a $700 car payment, but we'll talk about it in a minute. You know what we'll do? We're gonna go through the budget, see how much this person's lifestyle costs, and that's gonna tell us how much money they need to make. That's what we'll do. I'm not gonna change nothing just yet. All right, car insurance. So those months that I get 3 paychecks, one of those checks is dedicated to paying up my car insurance for 6 months. So I pay my 6 month policy with money left over from that extra check in those 3 paycheck months. I'm saying that I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm telling you what I do. And I'm telling you that I do that because the way I structure my budget, I really live off of 2 paychecks per month. So in those 2 months out of the year, when I have a third paycheck, because I get paid every 2 weeks, and sometimes that happens every 2 months out of every year, I get 3 paychecks. That third paycheck, I'm not turning up. I'm not taking that money. I'm not balling out. No, I take that money and I pay up my car insurance for 6 months so that I don't have a car insurance payment every month. That is a game changer for my finances because that's one less bill that I have to pay every month. Yes, I paid it, but I paid it with extra money in those 2 months that it happens. This is the kind of stuff I talk about on Control Your Money, by the way. So if you're not following me, when I send you those links, click those links. Follow me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm always here on YouTube. All righty. So I'm going to put, I don't know how much people pay. And I know Miami is way out of range. South Florida is way out of range in terms of car insurance costs. I'm going to put $150. You have to put how much your car insurance costs. This is a example. And like I told y'all, in this example, this salary is not enough. So we'll have to look at that in a second. All right, I'm going to go back over here to the other paycheck. Grooming. Again, you may stand on your feet all day. You may have to talk to customers. You may want to get your feet pampered every couple of weeks for all the time you spend on them. You may want to have your hair, your nails, your lashes done to support how you present out in the world. I don't feel like you should have to sacrifice that. I feel like that is a part of your lifestyle and it should be on your budget. Now, when times get hard, we have to make decisions, and sometimes nails, hair can't get done. But I do want you building that into your budget so that you have it as a part of your plan because you should treat yourself. You should treat yourself. Okay. But again, there are certain categories on a budget. And that's why it's also helpful to have things laid out like this, because when you have to make hard decisions, instead of saying, oh, I don't have enough money to pay the light bill, you can look at this and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to skip my hair this month and I'm going to take care of the light bill. Now you know your light bill is paid. And now you know you have your hair appointment next month to look forward to because it's in your budget. It's a part of your plan. All right. I'm scared to mark this because I don't know how much this stuff costs either. I know my hair costs a lot of money, but I know most people's hair costs even more than that. And I never get my nails done. And I know nails are crazy now. So I don't know how much to put. I'm going to put $150. Hopefully y'all around there. Okay. Student loan. I'm just going to put $250. I'm going to move on. I won't talk about it more than that. I'm just going to put $250. All right. I told y'all in step 7, you got to pay them people their money. So if you borrowed, say you borrowed $1,000 from somebody, hopefully you didn't need to borrow $1,000 because that's a lot of money to have to pay back. Let's say you borrowed $400. All right. I don't have the 400 to give you today, but I can give you $100. And in my next paycheck, I'm gonna give you $100. Okay. I'm saying that to say you may have a debt to somebody that you cannot afford to pay them back all at once, but you can plan to pay them a little bit at a time, and that can be a part of your budget. So now you can give them a realistic timeline of when they will get their money back, and you can pay them back over time versus acting like, yeah, versus that. We don't want to close any flow doors. We need all the doors open so that the money can flow to us. Don't block your blessing by not keeping your commitment when somebody helped you. Okay? And it's not personal. I just know a lot of situations where people have done that. And I'm going to tell you from my observations, I see the door close on them financially. I see the door close. I don't want that to be you. That sure ain't me. If I borrow money from you, you getting it back, just like I said. Okay? But I just want you to know. And you may feel that. Sorry, something was on my screen there. You may feel that. Like, why don't I have money? Is there anybody you owe? You ain't paid them back when you said you would, or you act like you never took the money? Okay, moving on. All right, over here, cable and internet. Whew. I hesitate to think how much this costs for people. I think my internet is $83, and that's because I fussed and fought with my cable company because I only have internet from them. But a little side tip, call them and tell them I want to cancel my service. They're going to transfer you to somebody. They're going to transfer you to the cancellation department. They are going to keep you on that phone for an hour to convince you not to cancel your cable or your internet, your cable and or your internet. You fight with them until you get to the number you want. They have some specials in the background when you're ready to cancel your service. That's how I got $83 because I was up to 100 something dollars. And I was ready to find another way. And I called and they made that adjustment. And I looked online and researched, and that is the strategy that most people recommend. Okay. So for me, it's $83. For you, it might be $125. So let's put $125. All right. Water. Oh, I was thinking drinking water. I'm like, why would I have drinking water on here? Water as a utility. Your water bill. You definitely want to have something here for your water bill. Now, in South Florida, depending on where you live. So where I live, I pay every 3 months. And the amount that I pay is very low because my water bill is strictly for my water. There are cities locally where you pay every month, you pay every 2 months, but your water bill may be way higher because the cost of your garbage or some other service is on that bill as well. I pay for my garbage and other services on my property taxes, which we don't have to talk about property taxes tonight as it relates to a budget. So it just depends where you live and how it's done. For me, my amount is very low because I just pay for the water itself. So it just depends how much you pay with that. I don't know how much most people pay for water. I'm going to put $50. I hope that's about right. Let me see any hearts in the chat. Say true, Shanae. True, true. Okay. Let me know if you're with me. Put some hearts. I want to make sure I'm not losing. That's why I'm asking you to put the hearts because I can't talk to y'all. I can't hear your voice. The hearts let me know that I'm not losing anybody. I don't want to leave anybody behind. No money master left behind. All right. Thank y'all so much. Okay. All right. Now, Spotify. Some of us may not even know what that word means. Spotify is a streaming service, it's a music streaming service. So, on a monthly basis, you pay X amount of money to listen to as much music as you want, uninterrupted, no ads. Um, there's also Apple Music, there's Amazon Music, there's Pandora. Some people pay to listen to music on a monthly basis. That was me for many years. I have opted out of that unless they give me three months for the price of one, and I sign up for that 1 month, listen for my 3 months, and cancel. I'm not making any judgments if you pay to listen to music. What I'm telling you is if you don't have that on your budget, that's money that's not being accounted for. And it's not just Spotify, it's all of these streaming services. On the other side, you see Hulu on this next check. You see Hulu and you see Netflix. And I'll put $30 for Netflix because their price is getting outrageous. And I'm assuming that Hulu is like $18. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you now, Spotify, I think $13, $14. All right. Let me do a rough calculation. That's $52. 62? $62. Those three alone is $62 a month. So if you didn't have that on your budget, that's $62 where you'd be like, well, what happened to the why is my account negative $62? Because you didn't have your streaming services on your budget. You didn't even realize you were paying that. And most people, these things are deducted on a monthly basis automatically. You never press a button to pay that bill. And that's how you lose control of your money. That's why everything that you spend money on every month has to be on your budget. Every single dollar. Otherwise, you don't know what's going on, you're losing track, and you can never get full control of your finances. All right. I'll also have Apple storage here. I have that here because I learned that from somebody that I was assisting. That was like $5 a month. And it sounds like a little bit of amount, but it adds up over time. And it could end up as a negative in your account if you're looking to account for all your money. All right. Very important. These lifestyle expenses, go watch that video on the budget series playlist. These lifestyle expenses are what is keeping your budget out of control. Not the actual cost of them, but the act of not having them as a part of your budget. This is little money that adds up to bigger amounts that if you don't realize you're spending them and you need to account for them when you look at how much money you have coming in every month, you're going to be out of the water. Which takes us back to the only things I filled out, which is entertainment. Okay. Every paycheck, I go to the ATM. I'm a dinosaur. I go to the ATM. I pull out my budget amount for entertainment every 2 weeks and I take it out in cash. The reason I do that is so that I have a certain amount every paycheck to spend on entertainment. Entertainment for me is going out to eat, stopping here, picking up a bag of chips, stopping over there, picking up a newspaper. Anything that is not a bill that I'm paying or money that I had to send to an account, I count it as entertainment. And I take the cash out so that when the cash is gone, I know that I don't have anything left. I have to wait for my next paycheck to do those fun things I like to do. You don't have to go that far. Most people are uncomfortable with cash at this point. But I find that it helps me stay committed to my budget. Now, an alternative in today's times, I have shared this information, and a friend, we went out to eat, and she pulled out a Cash App card. And I said, a Cash App card out because I didn't know they had a credit card or a card that's basically like a debit card for Cash App. And she said, yeah, when you talked about how you set your money aside for entertainment, I chose to transfer the money to Cash App. And then she uses her Cash App card when she's out and doing those fun things. That way she's not using her debit or her credit card that's tied to her actual bank account and losing track or overspending. So I'm just mentioning those as tips and tricks. Again, I cover these things on Control Your Money on social media. But since you're here, if you haven't heard it before, it's a little workaround. All right. So I see some people dropped off and came back. Shout out to y'all. Hello, hello. Thank y'all for coming back. All right. Entertainment. This person don't really have that money for entertainment, but we're going to put $100 every 2 weeks. Okay. Again, this is also when you go get your coffee in the morning, when you get your lunch at work, all that is entertainment. Okay. Don't count that under groceries. Groceries is the food you buy for inside of your house. Now, if you take food from inside of your house to work for lunch or for breakfast, you don't have to count that money under entertainment. But if you got to work with a plan to go get your bagel and your coffee, because that's what I used to do, that money needs to be under your entertainment category. Okay? So we filled out our budget for our January 9th paycheck, our January 23rd paycheck. These are the totals that we're looking at for the month. So in this person's paycheck, in this person's finances, they're earning $2,800 a month. They pay $1,400 in rent. They donate or tithe $40. They have $20 going to a savings account. It costs them $160 in gas a month to get around. They spend, about $200 on entertainment, having fun. They spend $240 on groceries. Their cell phone costs $100 a month. They spend about $50 a month shopping for clothes and shoes and little trinkets at Ross and TJ Maxx and Home Goods. Not judging, I'm just saying I know where y'all be. Shein, Temu. All right. They are saving up for a family trip. So every month they're putting aside $50 for that family trip 8 months from now. Their light bill costs $200. They have one credit card that they're paying $75 a month. It costs them $150 between their hair and their nails. Their car payment is $700. They have a student loan that's $250. Their car insurance on a monthly basis is $150 because they didn't pay for their 6-month policy with that extra paycheck. No judgment. I'm just saying that they didn't know about it. Now that they know, they may choose to do something different. Who knows? All right. They owe a personal debt to someone. So they're paying $100 to that person every month until they clear up their debt. Their cable and internet is $125. Their water bill is $50 a month. They pay $14 a month for Spotify. They pay $5 a month for cloud storage through Apple because they have an iPhone. They pay $18 for Hulu and $30 for Netflix. No judgment. I'm just telling you, this is what they do. This is their financial picture. Now, we get into the fun stuff, y'all. Take a deep breath. I'm a little anxious because I already know between the car and the rent, they over budget. But they make $2,800 a month. These are all of their bills. These are the costs of all of their bills for the month. Okay, let's go down. There's more on this page. Woo, my Lord, my Lord. Help, help, Lord, help, 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 help. So, what we see, they make $2,800 a month. Each paycheck is $1,400. Their lifestyle as a whole, their full financial picture for this paycheck is $2,200 really $2,249. Okay. So that means they make $1,400 a paycheck. They spend $2,249 a paycheck. Then a negative on that one paycheck, $850. The next paycheck, they earn $1,400 for that paycheck. Their expenses is $1,878. They're in the negative $480. Over here, column K, this is the column that tells it all. This is the column that tells it all. This is the column that you need to look at to get a full picture of your finances. Okay. So what this says is on a monthly basis up here, I'm going to go back up, move slow. I don't want to lose nobody. They made $2,800 for the month. Over here, you scroll down to that little hidden area, which you will see on your screen if it's bigger. I had to make this screen a little smaller, that's why. But it worked out because you don't get to see what's happening until now we know what's happening. They make $2,800. Their lifestyle financially costs $4,100. They're in the negative $1,300. This is not most people's story, but this is some people's story. And now that you know how to budget, it's not going to be your story. Because you are going to say, I can't be that out of range. So I'm going to have to make some decisions. And this is also what I like about budgeting. Okay. And this is also what most people don't like about budgeting. Most people are afraid to budget because they don't want their budget to tell them that they are living outside of their means. They don't. They like the way they live in. They like the lifestyle they're living. It feels good when they do what they want to do. But the stress is keeping them up at night. They can't sleep because they don't know how they're going to be paying their bills. And it's easier. I won't use easier. When you can ignore the reality, you can make decisions that harm you, but I can't see it, so it's not happening. You can ignore it. A budget is putting it in your face. I love this example. It stresses me out. I'm sweating up under my arms after seeing the negative. But I like this example because this is exactly the point of budgeting. You need to know what your financial picture is to start making better decisions, to start engaging in better practices, to find some strategies to say, hey, this job ain't good enough. It's time for me to get another job. Or it's time for me to get a second job. I need to do something at night, work from home, customer service on the internet, until I can get a hold of things or until I can get a better job and make all of this work. Okay. So if I'm this person and I say, ooh, I'm in a negative a lot, well, I'm going to make some adjustments. And I'm going to go line by line. So maybe you're in your apartment and your lease is coming up. And I'm talking about a single person. I'm not talking about families, but maybe families too. Maybe your lease is coming up and you really can't afford $1,400. You need to be more on the $1,000 side. You may need to consider co-living, finding somebody that I can rent a room so that I could pay $1,000 a month. So we're going to knock that down. Next month, you're moving. You're going to pay $500 in rent. Hopefully you pay $400. Let's do $400. Because if I'm renting a room, I don't want to pay more than $800. All right. So we just dropped that down $600. Let's look and see what that impact is now down at the bottom. Woo! Negative 727 is better than negative 1327. Okay. So we just made a decision for our finances because now we got a picture and now we can start creating a strategy to get things under control. All right. For a little while, I'm going to have to do $50. Maybe I have to cut out lunch. I have to bring my lunch from home. I still need my coffee. I still got to go get my coffee in the morning, but I'm going to start bringing lunch from home. You cut that entertainment down to $50 per paycheck instead of $100. And now you're at $100 a month versus $200 for entertainment. And now let's look. Okay, now we negative 627 when we were just at negative 727. Okay, let me see some hearts if y'all are with me. Who said I did not? What you say now? You did not want to know. You did not want to know. I know. I know. Nobody wants to know, but you can't change for the better until you know. You can't get better until you have a real picture in front of you. And it's uncomfortable, but you don't grow staying in the same place doing the same thing. You will never grow. You'll just always be in the same place doing the same thing. If you want to grow, you got to do something different. You got to get a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, that reminds me, I got to get back in the gym with that soreness and that pain. Okay, because I'm not going to change sitting at home, not exercise. All right, anyway, enough about me. So, groceries. Maybe I shop at Publix and I need to shop at Aldi. Aldi is my store, okay? Okay. If this is your budget picture, you do not need to be worried about brand name food. Take yourself to Aldi. It pretty much tastes the same. I ain't saying it tastes exactly, but it's close enough if it's going to help you get your finances in order. So we're going to move that down to $80. You're going to have to start meal prepping so that you have food to take and food to eat when you get home. Let's do some chicken for a while, rice and beans until we get back on our feet. And then you can up that number once you get things under control. Okay. Cell phone, it's hard to make that change. You can try the strategy that I talked about with the cable and the internet company and call and say, your bill is too high. What can you do to get a little lower? And that's an opportunity. If you're this person and you're in the negative, do not get a new phone because your budget is telling you you cannot afford a new phone right now. You may have to go get a refurbished one. Maybe you need a newer model or you want a newer model, but you're not going to be able to go in that store and get a brand new one. You need to get on eBay or something and try to get a refurbished phone. All right. Shopping, what I told y'all, take it down to zero. Make the cut. Make the cut. Make the cut. All right. I see we're at like an hour and 20 minutes, and I don't want to tire y'all out too much. So I'm just going to start doing a lightning round of cuts. I still want to contribute to my family trip, so I'm going to cut that down to 25 from 50. My credit card, I got to pay them people back. I got to keep up with that. I'm going to skip my hair and my nails this month. So that's down to zero. My car payment is what it is right now. It's hard to get out of those. So we're going to have to leave that and see where things shake out. $250 for the student loan. That's how much it costs. Now, I could call and try to get a forbearance, or is it a deferral? What is it? Deferral or forbearance? Maybe that's something I have to consider. Okay. Now, if you do that $250 is not free money. Okay. Reallocate that money somewhere where it's needed, especially if your budget is still in a deficit. Okay. So if you call and they say, okay, you can hold off, that $250 is not play money. It needs to go somewhere else that is needed. Okay, because for you to call and say you're in forbearance, that means that you're not stable in your finances right now. So put that money somewhere where it will help you get a little more stable. Okay. Car insurance, can't do nothing about that. Owe somebody. Man, I know I said I was gonna give you $100. I don't have it, but I have 75. Okay? At least you're doing something. It may not be what you want to do. It may not be everything that they're looking for, but at least it's something. Now, if they tell you they need the whole amount, you gotta figure these numbers out to make that happen, okay? Cable and internet. Hi, I'm calling to cancel my service. Oh, you don't want me to leave? What's the lowest you can give me? $90. Okay? Your water bill, it's nothing you can do. It is what it is. Let's go back over to Spotify. Cancel membership. Reason, can't afford it right now. Go on YouTube, listen to music on YouTube, SoundCloud, mixtape. There's 1,000 ways to listen to music. I love music, but I find that I find more interesting music when I cancel Spotify and use free services. $0. Hulu, my favorite show, $0. Netflix, $0. You're not watching it anyway. Apple Stores, you maybe need to keep that because it's backing up your phone and you don't have another option right now. So let's look down. Look at that. Let's look at K. All right. We're negative 200. Now we started negative 1,300. We still negative. So you may need to do a couple days of DoorDash this month to bring that $200 in. Okay. But look at that. By focusing on the priorities and making shifts on the places that we could, we found a lot more money in our budget than we thought we had. Now, we had to make some hard decisions right now, but hopefully those are temporary decisions just to help you get stabilized financially so that as you start to earn more money, as you get that second job, as you do the things you need to do to bring more income in, or continue to make cuts where you can. It's a temporary situation, okay? That's another thing about a budget. Our finances can be so chaotic that we feel like this is the way it always has to be. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. Most people, I haven't worked with 100 people, okay? But the people that I've worked with, the budget has helped them find more money in their budget than they thought they had. That's one. But two, they've also been able to overcome their financial challenges faster than they thought they would. So whereas they thought they were in a financial situation forever, they were able to change that pretty quickly. Now, I'm not saying from one month to the next, but over a little bit of time, they were able to change their financial situation. And it's because they got control of their money. It's because they started figuring out where I can cut back and where I need to increase. It's because they said some things, hey, I don't need. I had somebody that I was helping, and they had a treat. That's what I'm going to say, a treat that they gave themselves every week. That was the way that they wound down at the end of the week. They gave themselves that treat. By the time we finished getting their finances where they wanted them to be, they did not do that treat anymore. They gave it up. They didn't even want it. They weren't interested. And they said, I was just doing that. Really, now that I think about it, I probably was just bored. It was just something to do. But their finances and financial stability became something to do for them. And that shifted their focus. So it's a process. It does not happen overnight. It's not a magic pill, but it is a plan. It's a plan for your money. And it can work if you work it. Now, I'm going to move on from this because this person probably makes more than $2,800 a month. Okay. They need to anyway, but they probably do. But I do want to mention in this scenario, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. In this scenario, on this first paycheck of the month, they're in a negative 385. In the next paycheck, the second paycheck of the month, they're in a positive 185. So here they are over budget by $385 for that paycheck. Over here, they have $185 left over from that second paycheck. Now, in the end, they're still under $200. They're still over budget by $200, negative 200 under column K. Okay. But what I see here is an opportunity to split up a payment. Now, when you split up payments, that means that this is not a payment you're behind on. I'm so glad I thought about that. You can't split payments you're behind on. You need to catch up on the payment. So you can't split. Okay. So in this instance, I'm looking at this car payment, which is $700. So let's say we're working on our January budget. Let's say this person already paid the car note for January. It's a little early, but maybe it's possible. They already paid their car payment for January. Now they're looking to pay their car payment for February. I'm going to have to go up a little bit to show y'all what I'm talking about here. Okay. So their February car payment is due February 1st, 2026. They have two paychecks in in January that both happen before February 1st. And the total payment is $700. They have no wiggle room on the January 9th paycheck, but they have a little wiggle room on the January 23rd paycheck. What I would recommend to this person is to put aside $350 from the January 9th paycheck and then put $350 on the January 23rd paycheck. So for January 9th, this $700 would be $350. Okay. And then they would actually add over here, they would put $350. Okay. So then what that does down at the bottom is, and don't look at this because this is now not right. This is not right. Don't look over here. The Wiz say don't look over there. Ignore that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna close it, I think. Let me see. No, I don't want to cause too much confusion. But ignore this over here. That's highlighted. That 150 left over, ignore that because that's not accurate. But I want you to focus on this. You put $350 here and then $350 here for that $700 car payment that's due February 1st. Okay. Now what's happened? At the bottom, now you have $35 that you're in the negative. Before it was $385. Over here, you increase the negative, but again, this person is going to be making more money, so that's going to work out. By February, they will have started making more money. They're going to be door dashing, so their income will be a little higher, and those numbers will turn into zeros. Down here, okay, with that, I'm going to undo what I just did because I need to show y'all something. Please, if I did not just lose you, if you're still with me, please put a heart. Because I hope that I didn't lose y'all when I just hit undo. Let me see a heart if you're still with me. Okay, I see a heart, see heart. Okay. All right, very good, very good. All right, I don't want to leave any money, no money masters left behind, okay? I want to show y'all something. So let me move a little slower. So we got our January 9th paycheck, our January 23rd paycheck, and column K is showing us our totals, right? All right, so we know that for January 9th, we are in the negative 385. For January 23rd, we're in a positive 185. I want y'all to know that if this person was really managing their money the way that I need them to manage it, these numbers at the bottom, these leftover numbers would be zero. Okay, so in row 33, all these numbers would be zero. Okay. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to theoretically fix it for this person. This is not for your budget. I'm just showing you for the example. Okay. So for this person, in order for their budget to really work, up here, they need $385 more. So they really need to be making $1,785. Okay. And I'm going to show y'all down here what that looks like. Okay. You see that $0, right? So that means that every dollar that they had listed here, every dollar, every category, every dollar for all of their responsibilities that are being applied to this paycheck, they amount to what they made on the paycheck. And look at what they were covering. They covered their rent, even tithes and donations, even savings. They paid for their gas for their car. They got a little money to buy, a couple snacks during the week. They got money for groceries. They got money to pay the bill, the phone bill. They even put in money aside for the family trip in 8 months. They are paying their credit card. They're paying their car payment, their car insurance, their cable and their internet. They're not paying Spotify right now because they can't afford Spotify right now, and that's okay. But they paying for the Apple storage. Okay. Everything that needs to be accounted for is accounted for. Okay. And there's $0 left over. Now, I just thought about something because I was going to ask for your lifestyle, there may be a category that you don't see here. And what I'm thinking is for some people, daycare or a class that you have to take or are taking. Anything that you don't see here that you're spending money on, you need to add to the budget. You need to add it because it's a cost. It's a cost that you pay every month. You need to add it to your budget. Anything that you pay for in a month, you need to have on your budget. Anything, and I mean anything, you need to have that on your budget. Does that make sense? Let me see some hearts if that makes sense. Let me see some hearts if that makes sense. Okay. Let's see one. Let me see another heart if that makes sense. Okay. All right. If it makes sense for 2 or 3, then we can move on. All right. So I've shown you a budget. I've shown you how you need to have things laid out. I want to touch on what I talked about earlier. These additional tabs in the template, which, by the way, if you attended tonight's session, if you registered to attend tonight's session, you will get this budget template for free. I'm going to give that to you for investing your time and energy in figuring out how to improve your finances and desiring to have financial stability. I'm going to send you my budget template file. You got to fill it out to meet your needs. It'll look just like it did in the beginning with those blank spaces. You have to fill in the dollar amounts. You have to fill in your net income. Okay. But the calculations that it does will remain. Okay. So I'm going to send that to you. So with that, you're going to have this next tab, which is bills. Okay. I just clicked at the bottom. I click this tab that says bills. Here is where you want to have all of your bills. So if you have lights, water, cable, and internet, this is where you want them. Okay. If it's due on the 13th, lights are due on the 13th, water is due on the 17th, cable and internet is due on the 22nd. It is critical that you have your due dates on this list because your due dates will tell you which paycheck you need to apply these bills to. Okay, so in this instance, The cable and the internet, which is due on the 22nd, I'm going to go back to the January 2026 tab. If your cable and internet is due on the 22nd, you cannot put it under this check. You're late. You're late. So that's why your cable and internet has to be on your January 9th paycheck. Okay? I'm going to tell y'all, because of my budget, the bills that I get in the mail are already paid. By the time I get them in the mail, they've been paid already. They've been paid already. I had an argument with my mail lady when I moved in this house because I wasn't checking my mail enough. My mailbox was getting too full. Because I was paying my bills, I didn't need to run to the mailbox. I'm just saying. And I'm not bragging. I'm telling you, this is how the budget will train you. And the budget will actually train your bills. Okay? So let's go back to the bills tab. Here you want to have anything that is a recurring bill that has to be paid. Okay? You're not going to put your credit cards here. That's going to go somewhere else. All right, next tab is checking and savings accounts. So here you want to have a list of your bank accounts, okay? You don't have to have your bank account number and all that additional information. I'm just interested in you keeping track of the accounts that you have, especially once you start branching out into other accounts for savings. I'm going to do a video on that in the near future. I have 5 savings accounts, 5, 6, 7 savings accounts. I have 7 savings, 8 savings accounts. Every month, I'm not playing around in all of them, but I have them, and they're for 8 different goals. Okay? So you need to be able to keep track of everything. And also, I like to keep things here so that if you make an accomplishment, right? Say you have a goal of $1,000. I want you to be keeping track of that on this tab so that you know what progress you're making towards that $1,000. And maybe it's time to bump that goal up to 5. All right? It's just good financial practice to keep track of your accounts, to know these things, to have a resource where you can go and say, this is my financial information. Now, you got to protect this file because you're going to have information in there. But again, I wouldn't put my numbers in there. I wouldn't put my account numbers in there. That's just me. But I would definitely put the name, okay, of the account. Credit card and debt accounts. This tab is very, very important. Very, 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 very important, especially if you are a person trying to pay down your debts. Okay? So here's your student loan. Here is your 3 credit cards that you have. Here is that one personal debt that you owe. And you want to keep track of things like when you got the debt over here under notes. When you got the debt, and then as of January 31st, what does that look like now? Did the balance go down? Did it go up? This is this tab is going to surprise you how important it is, because it will keep you on track to your financial goals, because you don't want to see that balance go up. When you see that balance go up, you're going to say, I need to cut that card up, throw that away. I'm telling you because I know. I had somebody that helped them pay off 5 credit cards in 18 months. 5 credit cards in 18 months using a budget. And that's on Control Your Money. That's on Instagram. You can go check that for yourself. Not making that up. It's the facts of the matter. Okay? Did not have to change their lifestyle. They were traveling. They were going out and partying with their friends. They were doing this. They were doing that. The key to it was they didn't realize how much money they were making. They weren't keeping track of their income to know that they actually had enough money to live their lifestyle. They were just overspending in the wrong categories, or not putting money aside the way they needed to, or not paying their credit card bill on time because it was slipping their mind because it wasn't written down somewhere. A budget is a plan for your money. Okay. I think that's the last tab. Let me see. Oh, woo! How could I forget my financial goals tab? Financial goals. I want you to write those down. Okay. And I want you to put the date by which you want that to happen. So if this is save $1,000, when do you want to do it? By December 31st, 2026. Pay off pay off personal debt by June 30th, 2026. I want you to put these here. Okay? You need to be looking at these tabs every now and then. Now, your budget, you need to look at often. Every other day, every 3 days. Because I'm in my budget every day, honestly. And it's been that way for years and years and years. And I'm not sitting there for an hour. I'm just checking and making sure that I'm making decisions and keeping track of the things I need to. Okay? All right. And then the last tab is the payday calendar. So this is where I keep track of the dates of my paychecks so that I can go back into that January 2026 tab or that February 2026 tab and make sure that I know what days I'm supposed to be getting paid. For a person that's getting paid bi-weekly, like me, my first check is January 9th. The rest of the file updates for every 14 days automatically. So if your first paycheck of the month is January 5th, 2026, you see how those dates all changed? I don't know if you saw it, but all of those dates changed. Okay, but my first paycheck is January 9th. So I'm going to put that. Then my second paycheck of the year is going to be January 23rd. Third paycheck is going to be February 6th, my mama's birthday, and so on and so forth. Woo, y'all. I know it's a long time, but I want to make sure you had all the information you need so that you can start budgeting today. Well, tomorrow when I send you the template, if you don't have it already. Okay, so we've been over the budget. We walked through literally every aspect of a budget. So now I'm going to go back to here. We just finished going through the budget. Any questions? Any questions? Now's your chance. Any questions at all? Or was it so clear that y'all don't have no questions? That's what y'all telling me. It's possible. It's possible. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay. Now tell me in the chat, do you understand a budget better or are you more confused? Put better or put confused. Thank you, Shanae. She said it really was. Thank you. So let me know in the chat if it was better. Okay, better. Very good. Clear. Okay, clear. Thank you. Do you charge for one-on-one? I do. I do. I do charge for one-on-one services. Yes. We can discuss. I'm going to send out a follow-up email and definitely will be ready to connect with anyone that wants one-on-one assistance. I wanted this to be my gift to my money masters. Okay. Lord put it on my heart to do. So this is my gift to my money masters this live. And like I said, the budget template for attending. But if you need one-on-one assistance, yeah, that's a conversation. Oh, I love it. Clear and better. I love it. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Pamela. Very detailed. That's my goal. I know I always talk about budgeting, and I've shared my budget series on Control Your Money and walked through a lot of information with a lot of people over the years, but I felt like we needed to see a budget to really understand that it's possible, it's doable. It's not as complicated as you think, and it's a wonderful tool. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Sam. All right. So I don't have any questions. I just want to go over a couple of things to close us out. To have success with your budget, it needs to be realistic. Okay. In the example we saw, we had somebody that was not making anywhere near enough for the lifestyle that they live. You got to be honest with yourself and your budget. Okay. In order for this to work, we may have champagne dreams, but our budget is sparkling water. So you got to start being more realistic. It may make you be more realistic for the time being, right? Until you can earn more or find additional ways to bring in income to get to the lifestyle you really want. But I don't want you living a champagne lifestyle on a sparkling water budget and putting yourself deeper into financial distress. Okay? All right. Plan for flexibility. So that's like that family trip, those things that are coming out in the future, the things you feel like you will have to do, start planning for those and building those things into your budget. The budget is what you make it to be, it's not set in stone. Also, you may need to make adjustments like that person, this example. They had to, hold some things off for this month. Maybe they can get back to it next month, but the situation called for them to make some hard decisions to maintain some stability right now. Your budget is can be flexible. It should be flexible. It should flex, but your priorities need to be uh, in there at all times. So reflect your lifestyle and goals. And remember, goals is step two. I want you to know what your goals are. Write them down in the file. Stay focused on your goals. Okay, you can live your lifestyle while remaining focused on your goals. Judgment free zone. All of this is no judgment. Okay, all of it is no judgment. Most importantly, don't judge yourself. You were doing what you knew to do. You were doing what you figured out to do. That's how you learned how to deal with finances. That's what you saw people doing, and you didn't know any other way. Now you do. Okay. You can't hold yourself, beat yourself up for what you didn't know, but now you know. Okay. So no judgment. Don't judge yourself. But now you have the tool you need to change your financial future. Use it to your advantage. Make the most of it. Make the most of it, especially when it comes to your financial goals. Your financial goals are achievable with a plan. Remember, a budget is a plan, a budget is a tool. Now you have this tool, you can use it, exercise it like a muscle. You have to be in it, you have to be working it, you have to be tweaking it, you have to be figuring out how to make it better. I will always push myself when it came to my financial goals with my budget. And actually, because of that, I could have lost my house 2 or 3 years into owning it because my payment went up astronomically because of some things I didn't know that came to fruition. And from one month to the next, my mortgage was increasing by $700. From one month to the next, my mortgage increased by $700. And if I had not already been pushing myself to make extra payments on my mortgage, that's the way that I went into it. And I would tweak my budget every paycheck. I figure out how I could put a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Although I was devastated when I got that notice about that increase, I immediately ran back to my budget and I realized that I had already positioned myself to handle that without even realizing it. Just in pursuit of my financial goals, I was already positioned to be able to handle that. I had to make some adjustments. So I had to make some more adjustments to make it happen, but it happened. Okay? A budget is a tool. Push yourself on your budget, but always make sure that your responsibilities are taken care of. Discipline and consistency are your superpowers. Discipline and consistency are your superpowers. Stay committed to this budget. Once you build it, stay committed. Then you will find yourself saying that's not in my budget. You will find yourself being less interested in things that are not in your budget than you used to be. Because now you have a focus. Now you have something to look forward to. Now you have goals to achieve. Now you know the way. You have a tool. Before you didn't. So you were just doing here, there, and everywhere. But now you got a clear guide to take you where you want to be. You control your money. The budget is a tool that helps you do that. But as always, you control your money. You are the master of your money. Okay? Thank you for attending. Thank y'all so much for being here. You decided to change, and I love that for you. You decided that you want things to be different. I am proud of you for making that decision. Now you have the tool to get you there. All right, follow me on social media. Like I said, I will send out an email with some links with this budget template attachment. I look forward to continuing to be connected with y'all on Instagram, on TikTok, and here on YouTube. Until next time, I heard you control your money. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all. Oh, Renee, I love it. Renee said this was a great refresher for me. Renee is my first student. And I mean, the accomplishments, I'm so proud. So for you to come and attend and then feel like this was a great refresher, that really warms my heart. Oh, good night, y'all. Thank you for attending. Thank you, Shanae. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Mommy. I'm so proud of y'all for deciding to change, for choosing change. Change is a choice. Good night, y'all. All right, take care. Control your money. Bye.